Okay, strap yourselves in because today we're going deep on generative AI, and specifically its potential to completely shake up the global economy
It's not just about doing things a little better or a little faster. What fascinates me about generative AI is that it could completely redefine entire industries.
and create totally new ones, I bet. You sent over that McKinsey report, and wow, it really got the wheels turning.
It's not just incremental change. It's like a whole new paradigm.
Right. So our mission here is to break down how these massive changes, how these shifts could impact, well, you, the listener.
Yeah, we're talking about trillions of dollars potentially flowing into the global economy. We're talking about your job, your career, how those might shift and evolve, and maybe even, I don't know, a change in how we measure the success of our society.
No small potatoes.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we'll make it fun along the way. Okay, so you remember a few years back when that AI, what was it called, AlphaGo, beat the world champion Go player?
AlphaGo, yeah, that was definitely a big deal.
Mm.
But generative AI, it's different. It's not limited to one specific task.
So unlike AlphaGo, which was amazing at Go, but that's it, generative AI can kind of not do it all.
Kind of, yeah. It's powered by these things called foundation models, which are basically like the brains of the operation. Think ChatGPT, writing code, creating art, all from a simple prompt.
So instead of being really good at one thing, these models are multi-talented, like Renaissance AI.
Precisely. And that adaptability, that's what makes it so potentially disruptive. Imagine a world where tasks that used to take hours are done in minutes.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but let's get practical. What kind of economic impact are we talking about here? Real numbers.
Well, McKinsey estimates that generative AI could add somewhere between 2.6 and 4.4 trillion dollars
Hmm.
to the global economy every single year.
Every year. Hold on, let me just write that down. Okay, that's more than the entire UK economy.
And it's just based on 63 use cases they analyzed. They think that figure could double. Double. If you factor in how generative AI could be integrated into the software and processes we already use.
So we're talking about a massive economic shift. But I'm sure everyone listening is thinking, what about my job? I mean, we've all heard those stories about robots replacing factory workers.
You're right, but this is different. This isn't just about automating manual labor. Generative AI is coming for knowledge work. Things like customer service, marketing, even software engineering. Jobs that we thought were safe from automation.
Yeah. So those chatbots you see everywhere, the ones that sound almost human, are they actually going to take our jobs?
It's not necessarily about taking jobs, but transforming them. The report highlights one company where, get this, AI helped their customer service agents resolve issues 14% faster. That changes things, right?
Absolutely. And I've seen AI being used in marketing already. Campaigns that are instantly translated into different languages, personalized for different audiences. It's amazing.
Right. And in McKinsey's own research, they found that software engineers using AI assistants could write code 56% faster, and they reported feeling happier and more productive.
Okay, so it sounds like our jobs might not disappear, but they'll definitely change. The big question is, how fast is this going to happen?
Buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting.
Yep.
McKinsey's research suggests that half of all current work activities could be automated by 2045.
2045, that's way sooner than I expected. That's a lot to process.
It is. But it's not all doom and gloom. Their research also suggests that this could lead to a productivity boom, like a 0.1 to 0.6% annual growth increase. But only, and this is key, only if workers can adapt and learn new skills.
So the challenge is to adapt faster than the technology evolves. That's a pretty tall order.
It is. And it's important to point out that this impact won't be evenly distributed. Some people will benefit more than others. Higher wage knowledge workers might see the biggest changes, while lower wage jobs might be slower to be affected, which raises a lot of questions about fairness and the need for retraining and upskilling.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms we need to open. But before we get too deep into the societal implications, let's zoom back in on the technology itself, because it feels like we're just scratching the surface here, right?
I mean, text generation is cool, but
Well, this is just the beginning. Imagine AI designing new drugs, creating architectural blueprints, or even generating hyper-realistic video ads. This is what they call multimodal AI, where they're combining different types of data, text, images, video to create entirely new outputs. The creative potential is almost limitless.
okay, now I'm getting both excited and a little terrified. But let's focus on the excitement for now. McKinsey highlighted a few specific industries that seem ripe for disruption. Can you walk us through some examples?
Sure, let's start with banking. McKinsey estimates that generative AI could add between $200 and $340 billion per year to the banking industry. That's by streamlining customer service, improving risk management, and even, get this, preventing fraud in real time.
I read that Morgan Stanley is already using a GPT-powered assistant for their wealth managers. That sounds like a pretty big deal. It is. And then there's retail. Imagine a world where every marketing campaign is personalized to your exact tastes. And those AI-powered chatbots, they could offer you product recommendations based on your past purchases, your browsing history, even your mood. That's a potential $400 to $660 billion boost for the retail industry.
So every ad you see, every product recommendation, even the music playing in the store could be tailored to your individual preferences.
Precisely. It's all about creating a hyper-personalized shopping experience. And then, of course, there's pharma. AI could revolutionize drug discovery. Imagine identifying promising new drug molecules in weeks instead of months or years. McKinsey estimates the potential impact could be between $60 and $110 billion. It's amazing, but also a little scary, right?
Yeah, very cool, but definitely some ethical considerations there. And I think that brings us to an important point. Generative AI, it's not all sunshine and roses. There are some potential downsides we need to talk about. Like, what about those biased algorithms we hear so much about?
You're right. If AI systems are trained on biased data, they can perpetuate and even amplify those biases. And then there's the issue of copyright. If AI is trained on copyrighted material, who owns the output it generates? It's a legal minefield. And we haven't even touched on the potential for deepfakes and AI-generated disinformation.
That's some scary stuff. It sounds like we need some serious guardrails in place.
Absolutely. McKinsey really emphasizes the need for responsible use, transparency, and human oversight to make sure this technology is used ethically and for the benefit of all.
So a lot to think about, and I think this is a good place to pause for now. We've covered a lot of ground, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've explored the potential economic impact, the potential risk, and some of the ways this technology could reshape entire industries. But what does this all mean for you, the listener?
What stands out to you? What are your hopes and fears about this brave new world of generative AI? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
We'll be back in just a moment to delve deeper into the specific ways generative AI could transform industries like banking, retail, and pharma. We'll also explore what skills will be most valuable in this new landscape, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive. I hope you had a moment to kind of process everything we talked about. I mean, the potential scale of this AI thing, it's huge.
Yeah, we threw a lot of numbers at you, trillions of dollars, wow. But I bet a lot of you are wondering, what does that actually mean for me? Like, will robots steal my job?
It's a fair question. And the truth is, some jobs will definitely change. But, technology has always been disruptive. The key is to adapt, learn new skills, and kind of embrace the possibilities AI brings to the table.
Right. It's not about being replaced by robots. It's more about how can we work with AI? How can we use it to make our lives better? So let's get specific. You mentioned banking, right? McKinsey thinks AI could add hundreds of billions of dollars in value to that sector every year.
Yeah, hundreds of billions. Just imagine you walk into your bank, and instead of waiting in line, there's this AI assistant. It instantly knows your financial history. It can answer any question you have.
And not just generic answers, right? Like actual personalized advice based on your financial goals. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. And imagine even really complex financial stuff explained in a way anyone can understand. This could be huge for people who don't have access to, expensive financial advisors.
You mentioned Morgan Stanley using a GPT-powered assistant for their wealth managers. That feels like a real turning point.
It is. But we also need to talk about the potential downsides, like data security. Banks handle really sensitive information. Can we trust AI with that?
Right, that's a big one. I mean, nobody wants their bank account hacked by a robot.
Absolutely. So it's not just about implementing AI, it's about doing it responsibly.
Yeah.
You need super strong security, ethical guidelines, constant monitoring. Everything has to be designed to protect people's data.
Okay, so it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Constant vigilance is key. But beyond customer service, AI could change other parts of banking too, right? Like risk management.
Absolutely. Imagine an AI that can instantly analyze market trends, or assess loan applications, or even spot potential fraud attempts. Human analysts could then focus on the really tricky cases.
So AI is a kind of superpower for financial experts. That's a cool way to think about it. Okay, so we've talked about banking. What about retail? I feel like that industry is already drowning in data.
It is, and AI could help make sense of it all. Imagine walking into a store And everything is tailored to you. The products, the music, the recommendations. It's like having a personal shopper, but it's AI.
That sounds amazing, but also a little creepy. Like, how much do I want to sort of know about me?
That's a valid concern. And again, it comes down to transparency and control. Retailers need to be upfront about how they're using data. And consumers need to be able to set their own privacy preferences.
So, finding that sweet spot where personalization enhances the shopping experience without feeling intrusive makes sense.
Exactly. And AI could help with other things too, like inventory management, reducing waste, making the whole supply chain more efficient and sustainable.
Wow, so AI could actually help save the planet. Didn't see that coming. Okay, one last industry I want to touch on, pharma. The potential here seems huge.
Huge, yeah. Imagine AI accelerating drug discovery, finding cures for diseases that right now we have no way to treat, and even personalizing medicine based on your individual DNA. It's mind-blowing stuff.
It sounds like science fiction, but are we really on the cusp of that kind of breakthrough?
I think so. AI can analyze massive amounts of data, identify promising drug candidates, and even predict how effective they'll be. It could cut drug development time from years to months.
That's incredible. But of course, there are risks, right? When you're dealing with people's health, you can't afford to get things wrong.
Absolutely. So with AI in pharma, you need rigorous testing, validation, constant monitoring. We have to make sure that these AI systems are accurate and reliable. People's lives are at stake.
Right. Speed is important, but safety has to be the top priority. It's a tough balance to strike. Okay, before we dive into the specific skills that will matter most in the AI age, I think it's important to just take a moment to reflect.
Yeah, we've seen how powerful this technology is, how it can potentially transform every aspect of our lives. But it's not about humans versus machines, It's about finding ways for them to work together to build a better future.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. We've talked about how generative AI could reshape entire industries. We've thrown around some pretty mind-blowing numbers, trillions of dollars.
But now let's get down to brass tacks. What does all this mean for you, the listener, for your future?
Because, let's be honest, nobody wants to be left in the dust by this AI revolution. So if AI is going to automate so many jobs, so many tasks, what skills do we need to thrive in this new world?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Will our skills become obsolete? Well, the good news is the skills that will be most valuable in the AI age, those are the ones that are uniquely human, the ones that are hardest to automate.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What are the top skills for the AI age?
Number one, and I can't stress this enough, critical thinking and problem solving. Sure, AI can crunch numbers and spit out solutions, but it's humans who have to ask the right questions in the first place. We need to interpret the data, see the bigger picture, and make those judgment calls.
So it's not about blindly following the algorithm. It's about being able to think for ourselves, to analyze information critically, and to make sound decisions.
Exactly. Next up, creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
AI is great at remixing existing ideas, but true originality, that spark of genius, that's still a human domain.
So maybe all those years I spent doodling in my notebook weren't a complete waste of time after all.
You never know. And it's not just about art. It's about approaching problems from different angles, challenging assumptions, thinking outside the box. Which brings us to another essential skill, adaptability, and a willingness to constantly learn new things.
Yeah, it feels like this AI stuff is evolving at the speed of light. How can anyone possibly keep up?
That's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
But it's also the exciting part, the jobs of the future. Some of them might not even exist yet. So being able to learn new skills, to pivot and adapt, to embrace change, that's going to be key.
The only constant is change, right? But even in a world where tech is king, we can't forget about the human element.
You're absolutely right. Those soft skills, they're more important than ever. Communication, collaboration, being able to explain complex things clearly, to work effectively in teams, to bridge the gap between humans and machines. All of that is crucial.
So even if AI is writing our emails and giving our presentations, we still need to be able to connect with each other on a human level.
100%. And don't forget about emotional intelligence, empathy. AI can try to mimic emotions, but it's humans who truly understand the nuances of feelings, the importance of building trust and genuine connections.
So it's like, in a world where AI is handling the routine stuff, those uniquely human qualities become even more valuable. Creativity, critical thinking, empathy, the ability to connect, to adapt.
You nailed it. And one more thing I'd add, curiosity. That drive to learn, to explore, to ask questions, to never stop growing. Those are the people who will thrive in the AI age.
So it's not about fearing the future, it's about being excited by it, about seeing the potential and, I don't know, maybe even shaping that future ourselves.
Exactly. It's a chance to rethink how we work, to build more meaningful careers, to create a world where humans and AI collaborate to solve some of the biggest challenges we face.
Well, I think that's a pretty inspiring note to end on. As we wrap up this deep dive, we hope you've learned something new, that you're feeling energized, maybe even a little bit challenged.
Because the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create. Through our choices, our actions, our willingness to embrace the unknown.
So if you're feeling inspired, we encourage you to dig deeper. Explore the resources we mentioned. Keep asking those big questions. And remember, this AI thing, it's not just about technology. It's about what it means to be human.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep shaping the future.